Hello my lovely prince and princesses. Today I'm going to show you how I made these very easy and simple fairy wings from my lavender fairy design. Here are all the basic supplies that you will need to make these wings. A pair of scissors, pen or pencil, a glue gun and glue stick, any type of glitter or gems that you plan to add to your wings. Some type of sheer see-through lightweight fabric works best for this, but you can always substitute it with whichever fabric you feel matches your costume or style best. You will need a decently lightweight bendable wire. For this, I am using an old wire hanger because I have a lot of them lying around my house. Also, with the wire, you will probably need to use some wire cutters as well. And last but not least, you will need craft foam. You will specifically need 4 sheets of craft foam for this. Or at least you're going to be cutting out 4 different pieces, so make sure you have enough craft foam to do that. Don't feel that you are limited to the colors that whatever store near you sells. You can also paint the craft foam to whatever color you need. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is decide what kind of shape do I want my wings to be. There are thousands of shapes and ideas that you can go off of to make these wings. For me, I really wanted a classic fairy design that looked a little bit like a butterfly. The internet is your best friend in this case. If you are terrible at drawing your own original designs for this, you can go online, find some designs, mishmash some stuff together, and see what you like best. Next, you're going to get a large sheet of paper and draw out the wings as big as you want it. I'm going for a relatively smaller size instead of a large one, so I ended up taking my sheet of craft foam, tracing out the edges of it, and then drawing my sized wing inside of that box, so I knew exactly how it was going to fit on the specific size craft foam sheets that I bought. After you are happy with how the wing looks, next you're going to take a thick marker like a Sharpie and you're going to outline the entire details of the wing on that paper. After you're done with that, what makes it super easy to know which parts you are cutting out is to put a little X in the areas that you know you're going to be cutting out for your wing. So the next steps are pretty straightforward. You're going to want to set something down on your wing design on top of the craft foam to make sure that it stays in place, because you do need to make sure that you are cutting out 4 identical pieces for the craft foam outline. After you're done tracing, next is to cut it out. Best thing to use other than a pair of scissors might be an X-Acto knife. In this case, I currently didn't have one to use for this for the inside holes that you'll be cutting out, but you will probably want to use that instead. After you have cut out all 4 sheets of the craft foam, you're going to want to make sure that all of the holes and outlines line up as evenly as possible. This would be the time to paint your craft foam, add any glitter or jewels that you would like to add to it, because later it's going to be much more difficult to paint or add anything without it getting everywhere or getting on the fabric. Now we are finally moving on to the fabric portion of this. You're going to want to lay out your wing design on the fabric and figure out how exactly it's going to lay inside of your wings. You don't want to cut it exactly the same size as your wings. You're going to want to cut it a little bit smaller, maybe about a ½ an inch smaller or even less, so it will fit but it won't stick out of the edges when you're gluing everything together. When you are gluing down the fabric, please be cautious of how thin or thick your fabric is. If your fabric is relatively thin and see-through like mine is, you will have a chance of burning your fingers. So use any kind of pencil or old plastic material type of thing to smooth out the glue when you are gluing down your fabric. If you're still kind of confused on how this is all working, essentially think of it like a sandwich. The craft foam outline pieces of the wings are like the bread, and the fabric in the middle is like the jelly or the meat of the sandwich. So at this point, you should have 2 pieces of craft foam with fabric glued to them on the opposite sides of whatever detailing you have on it. As you can see here, I added a little bit of glitter to the ends of my wings. The next part is not to glue the other craft foam pieces to your wings. It's actually going to be adding the wire to your wings. Okay, maybe I lied. You can actually glue down some of the edges of your wings to make sure that it's lined up properly before adding the metal in there. But before you're gonna do that, please make sure you don't glue down too much of your wings together to the point where you can't even fit your wire inside. So now on to gluing the wire down. So I don't really have a estimated size of how long your piece should be, but I guess you can kind of guesstimate it based on how big your wing is and how big the U shape you are going to make for the middle of the wire. I decided that I was going to glue the wire to the very top vein of the wing, but you can also do the middle section or lower section of the upper part of your wings. Just do not put it at the bottom because it's just not gonna come out the way you want it to, trust me. After you are finished gluing down the wire, you can make your giant little fairy sandwich as I explained in the beginning and finish off gluing the other pieces together. And now you have your own little simple fairy wings that you can wear with any kind of costume for the Renaissance festival or Halloween or a convention, whatever you like. So let me know down in the comments below if you like this tutorial and make sure to follow me for more in the future. I love you guys so much and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah!